Hi everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to do an easy lattice top for a fruit pie. I have already my 10 ounces of pie dough. I made this a few hours ago and let it chill. Just make sure you give it at least an hour in the refrigerator to make your rolling a lot easier. 10 ounces is enough dough to do a lattice top for a standard 10-inch pie plate. So let's get started. I'm going to start by giving just a light dusting of bread flour on my bench so that my dough doesn't stick. I can move this around and my dough isn't sticking to the table at all. And then I'm going to do just a little light dusting on top as well so my rolling pin doesn't stick. To just get this started, I'm going to kind of tenderize the dough. Just rotate that, make sure it's moving. Do this a few more times. Okay, so that helped me get my dough just sort of spread out a little bit more without getting deep cracks on the bottom, which can give you trouble when you start rolling thinner. I have some kind of rough edges around here that I don't want to break up while I'm rolling, so I'm gonna just keep that nice and in place, and now I am ready to actually roll. A little bit more flour. And now I'm gonna start rolling what would be the same size as the top of my pie pan. So I'm doing a 10-inch pie pan, so I need to have a 10-inch diameter circle. I'm gonna start by rolling, nice firm pressure. I'm not gonna roll off of the top edge here or the back edge. If I roll all the way off of this, what ends up happening is the outside edges of my pie dough get much thinner than what the center is. And I want all of my pie dough to be 1/8 of an inch thick. Rotate that 90 degrees, make sure that it's moving. And now we do the same thing, just a few passes straight in front of you. I'm not angling off to the sides and not coming off the edges. Make sure that's moving, rotate 90 degrees. So now you can see I'm kind of starting to get a square shape. So now I'm gonna rotate it not quite 90 degrees to make sure that I am keeping a nice round shape, but I'm still not rolling off the edges of my dough. All right, moving nicely. I know I can pick this up. I'm going to transfer this dough onto, this is a half sheet pan lined with parchment. Whenever we have crust that's on top of a pie, we always like to have egg wash. That gives it a really nice browning and a great shine. What I like to do is actually egg wash before I even cut these and before I put it on the pie so that I know that all of my pie dough and my strips are ready to go. This egg wash that I'm using is 1 egg with about 1 to 2 tablespoons of water. So I'm just making sure that all of my dough is covered, just enough egg wash on there to give it a nice glossy shine. You don't want to have a lot of egg wash pooling and puddling on here. Now I'm going to use just a pizza cutter to cut my strips. So I like to start on the side that's straightest. So I think I'm straighter over here. So I'm going to start on this side. I'm just going to give myself a clean edge. That will go away. And now I'm going to cut these strips just a little bit wider than the width of my finger. So this is about a 1/2 inch wide. Since I still need to prepare my filling, I want this dough to stay as cold as possible, so this is gonna go in the refrigerator so it can stay nice and chilled until I am ready to use it. And since I have it on the sheet pan, it's really easy to just move around and not have to have it on my workbench. So I'm gonna prepare that filling and I'll be right back. The first thing I'm gonna do is use that egg wash that I used on top of my strips and just very gently brush around the outside crust here that's on the lip of that pan, just enough to make this surface tacky. That's so when I put my lattice strips on, they can grab onto this bottom crust. My lattice strips are nice and chilled, ready to go. I'm gonna start with my longer pieces here in the center, and I'm gonna start with making an X shape. So I'm gonna start across the middle and then vertically. So that's the pattern you wanna keep in mind. I'm just going horizontal, vertical, over and over again. And I'm gonna be working in a circle counterclockwise. So my last piece that I did was vertical. So now I'm gonna come with a horizontal piece, vertical piece, horizontal, vertical, and so on. And then my last touch here is I'm just gonna take some granulated sugar and just a light sprinkle on top to give it a little touch of sweetness and a nice appearance as well. And the egg wash that we did on the lattice strips is also helping that sugar to stay in place. And that is how we do a nice quick lattice. If you investigate closely, you can see, yes, they're not completely intertwined together, but they're mostly intertwined together. So much faster than a traditional lattice. Now this is ready to bake and enjoy. So I hope you guys try this at home and your pies come out nice and beautiful.